What's up everyone, I'm Pamela, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing what I personally think are the top 10 most suspenseful moments in the Scream franchise. You guys actually gave me this idea during our Scream 2 watch party, so thank you so much for the video inspiration, and let's get into it.
Certain rules. Push the laws and you end up dead.
This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life.
Not in my movie.
Surprise, Sidney.
He's gone mad.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
A very simple formula.
You want to play psycho killer?
Everybody's a suspect.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
I'll be right back.
Okay, I think it's gonna go something like this.
So just a reminder that this is my own personal opinion. Feel free to disagree down in the comments. Let me know if I left out a scene that you personally think is one of the most suspenseful. So coming in at number 10, I have Kirby Reed's phone call with Ghostface in the final act of Scream 4. You know, when Charlie is all tied up and Kirby is on the phone with Ghostface, and Ghostface is making her answer horror movie trivia. This is one of my favorite scenes in the entire franchise. I love Kirby Reed. I love Scream 4 in general. It is my favorite sequel. And I think this scene is full of suspense, you know? Is she gonna get it right? Is she going to be able to save Charlie? So this scene is definitely suspenseful, but not the most suspenseful in my opinion. So that's why I have it in 10th place. Coming in at number 9, we have Principal Himbry's death scene in the first movie. I feel like there is a lot of suspense in this scene. Ghostface is kind of taunting him a little bit, like knocking on the door. He looks out into the hallway. He opens up the closet, you know, sees himself in the mirror and spooks himself. And we know something's gonna happen, but we just don't know exactly when Ghostface is going to pop out. So definitely think this scene is pretty suspenseful, but still not one of the most suspenseful, so that's why I have it in 9th place. Coming in at number 8, I have Wes Hicks' death in Scream 5. This scene is definitely pretty suspenseful. You know, there's multiple different parts where he opens different doors, and there's like this suspenseful music. You think this is gonna be the moment Ghostface pops out, but you know, they really make you wait for it. When he's like going into the fridge, the pantry, there's just multiple different doors that Wes is opening, and they really make you wait for it. However, this scene at a certain point does get a little more comical, so it's not the most suspenseful in my opinion, but still pretty suspenseful, and that's why I have it in 8th place. Coming in at number 7, I have Rebecca Walters' death in Scream 4. Another great scene, again in my favorite sequel, Scream 4. The scene with her in the parking lot is just full of suspense in my opinion. You know, she's on the phone with Ghostface, she gets into her car, you think maybe she's gonna get away, and then, you know, she goes running for the door, almost makes it out, and Ghostface, of course, runs up right behind her and stabs her right in the stomach. Definitely one of the more suspenseful scenes in the entire franchise. Next up in 6th place, I have the ladder scene in Scream 6. This is one of my favorite scenes in Scream 6. Definitely full of suspense. The reason I didn't rank it higher is because you kind of know that none of the big characters are going to die in this scene. You know Sam is gonna make it, Mindy's gonna make it. Really the only one who's questionable is Anika, and in my opinion you do kind of see it coming. Like you kind of know all along that Anika is going to be the one to die, but it's really just a question of how. Is Ghostface going to find his way into the bedroom, you know, banging down the door, and the dresser that's holding up the door? I mean, once Anika kind of gets gutted, stabbed in the stomach, you do expect that she's gonna die, but it's really just a question of when. So I do think the ladder scene in Scream 6 is definitely full of suspense. Next up, coming in at number 5, we have the subway scene in Scream 6. You know, when they're all headed to the shrine and Mindy gets separated from the group and Mindy is left alone with Ethan. And there's so many people on the train in costume for Halloween, obviously, and Mindy spots this ghost face sitting down, and then the lights go out and the ghost face kind of gets closer and closer to her, and you don't really know what's gonna happen. You assume that she's safe because she's in a crowd of people. I love when the lights keep going out and Ghostface kind of gets closer and closer, and obviously Ghostface gets her in the end. Ghostface stabs her right in the stomach, even in a full crowd of people. And that's the thing about New York City. I was born and raised in New York City, and you'd be surprised with what you can get away with in a crowd of people. You think that you're safe in a crowd of people, but that honestly might be when you can get away with the most. I really love this scene. I think it's one of the better scenes in Scream 6. Full of suspense for sure. Coming in at number 4, I have Sidney's first attack scene in the first movie. I think this is a pretty slow burning scene and definitely very suspenseful. For me, it starts the moment she gets off the bus coming home from school. She's kind of on edge with everything that's going on in town. She turns on the news, hears about what's going on, and there's a couple suspenseful moments where she's like walking around her house, she hears something coming from the closet, opens up the closet, and there's this little bit of suspenseful music because we do know that Stu is hiding in the closet this whole time. And then of course she takes a nap, wakes up from the nap, gets a call from Ghostface, suspects that it's Randy, but of course it's not Randy. She goes out to the front porch. Ghostface is kind of taunting her on the phone. You don't really know what's about to happen. And then Ghostface pops out of the closet. They have a little showdown downstairs. She runs up the stairs, tries to contact the police on her computer. Billy shows up. She suspects Billy is the killer. I just think this is a great scene, pretty lengthy and just full of suspense throughout the entire thing. So that's why I have this scene in 4th place. Coming in at number 3, I have Casey Becker in the opening scene of the first movie. This whole scene is full of suspense. You really don't know what's gonna happen, especially if you're viewing this movie for the first time. Every time I watch it, obviously I've seen it 100 times, but whenever I watch it, I try to view it through fresh eyes, as if I've never seen it before. And you just really have no idea what's going to happen in this scene. Now, normally on a typical ranking video, I would always have this scene in first place because it's just one of the best scenes of the entire franchise, hands down. However, when it comes to suspense, there are a couple of scenes that I do think are a bit more suspenseful than this one, so that is why I have it in 3rd place. But I really just love the slow burn of this scene. The opening scene is like 15 minutes long. It's really like a slow build-up. I love that she gets like a couple of calls from Ghostface before the actual call starts, and Ghostface hits her with the trivia. You really don't know how this is gonna play out. Is she gonna get the trivia right and save Steve? Or is she gonna get it wrong? Is she gonna survive or is she gonna die? I especially like to think about the people who saw this in theaters for the first time, thinking that Drew Barrymore is going to be the lead of the movie, and then they just kill her off in the first 15 minutes. It's just such a great scene, definitely full of suspense. So we have it in 3rd place. Now coming in at number 2, we have this Gale scene in Scream 2 when she's in like the soundproof booth and she's hiding from Ghostface and she's kind of creeping around the soundproof walls of the studio. This is one of my favorite scenes in the entire franchise. Definitely so full of suspense. We really don't know if Gale is going to make it out alive. Like I said earlier, especially if you view these movies through fresh eyes, as if you're viewing it for the first time, you really don't know what Gale's fate is going to be. And you're kind of on the edge of your seat the entire time. Hands down, one of the most suspenseful scenes of the entire franchise. And finally, coming in 1st place, we have the cop car scene in Scream 2. You know, we have the two cops driving Sidney and Hallie to safety, so they think. And then they crash the car. We have Mickey as Ghostface killing both the cops. And then the car crashes. Ghostface is passed out in the driver's seat. Sidney and Hallie are stuck in the back seat and they can't escape the car. You know, the back doors of a cop car are locked so that a potential criminal can't escape. So Sidney and Hallie find themselves stuck in the car, can't get out the back doors, and they have to kind of crawl their way out the front of the car. And the entire time, Mickey is passed out in the driver's seat. Sidney creeps her way out the front window, passing over Ghostface, and unfortunately, she can't open the back door to help Hallie out. So Hallie also has to creep her way out the front. And in my opinion, this is just absolutely the most suspenseful scene of the entire franchise. Will they make it out of the cop car or will they wake up Ghostface? And then of course it doesn't really end there. They kind of run away from the cop car, but then Sidney wants to go back and unmask Ghostface, and Hallie is pleading with her like, let's just get out of here. Stupid people go back, smart people run. And unfortunately, Hallie doesn't make it out alive. This scene always kills me because I love Hallie. She's such a good friend to Sidney, and they almost made it out alive. But yeah, definitely the most suspenseful scene in the entire franchise, at least in my opinion. Let me know if you agree. What do you think about my top 10 list? Is there a scene that I forgot to include? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning into another video. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. It definitely helps out the channel. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And make sure you turn on all notifications so that you don't miss out on future posts. I just want to say a quick thank you to all of my channel members. We have a lot of new channel members here who signed up recently, so thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. If you would also like to become an exclusive channel member, you can find the link down below in the description, or you can find the join button on my channel. I believe it's next to the subscribe button. You'll gain access to exclusive content that not everyone can see. And you'll also gain access to these fun emojis that you can use in the comment section of all of my videos or during the live chat of my live streams. And we do go live pretty often here. It's a fun time. We hang out, we discuss the Scream movies, Scream theories, and some other horror as well. So definitely check it out. But thanks so much for tuning into another video, and I will see you guys next time.